I'm Miss J, and I teach reading, writing, and social studies, and this is my class.
We love to read. We love to write. And we love to learn. Learn.
Have a great week.
On Monday, we're having chicken spaghetti with breadsticks.
The word of the week is tedious. The car ride through West Texas was tedious. The word of the week is tedious.
Hey guys, I just want to say thank you to all of you who participated in this week's trivia question. There were tons of great questions in there, and we're just going to do our best to touch on a few of them. There are so many good ones. I don't know if we can do this, and this might be a really long video if we were.
Yeah.
But first of all, I love seeing all the blue shirts. You guys did great of wearing blue. Blue is just a color we associate to acknowledge it. Just like yellow ribbons acknowledge veterans in the armed services, or pink ribbons for breast cancer, blue is just the color that we kind of chose for, we didn't choose it. It was chosen, I think in 2007, they came up with Autism Awareness Month, which is actually in April. Actually, Autism Awareness Day is April 2nd, and you wear blue, and that's what they started. So we just want to make you guys aware of all of the things about autism because it affects a lot of people. I think the statistic is 1 in 68 students or 1 in 68 people have some form of autism. And in a campus of 680 students, that means there's probably 10 or so kids here that have autism, that are affected by this disease. So it's on our hearts to share the importance and some facts about this. So I think the most asked question was, what is autism? Ms. Trevino, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it was. What is autism was the most asked question. And then I think another one was what causes it. So I'm going to kind of answer both of those questions. The autism brain, it develops differently than the non-autistic brain. And what causes autism is by a combination of genes and environmental influences. These differences affect the way people with autism can communicate, the way they think, the way they sense things like their senses, the way they move and interact with other people. Sometimes you see it's hard for autistic people to learn cues and understand facial expressions, and so that's hard for them to interact with others. I think Ms. Bowman's going to touch on that a little bit more for us.
I'll touch on some of that. One of the big problems that they might have is heightened sensitivity to light or sounds. So, for instance, you might see that they're covering their ears, or they need less light. They need that filter.
Or rocking back and forth.
Mm-hmm. They don't have a standard way of learning. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, I'm not talking about they can't learn. I'm talking about they don't learn traditionally. To be honest, they're highly, highly intelligent for the most part. Most of them are, and they happen to focus on things and really figure them out to an extreme level. So they kind of focus really particular on certain subjects.
They might they might find one thing that interests them, whether it's trains or boats or dinosaurs, the presidents. I don't know if you guys have seen the video of the little girl on Ellen who knows all the facts about every single president. She's probably autistic, and she has a great focus on these things, incredibly intelligent.
And you might see them having repetitive movements that aren't typical for someone, like flapping hands, or maybe like something like a dab, something like a dab, but it's
or a
non-stop.
Rocking, or a tapping.
Mm-hmm. It's like Ann said. It's hard for them to express language and for them to understand language. And also with that comes the expressions. So I could be portraying that I need him. Please stop doing what you're doing, and they don't get that from my expressions. They don't read my expressions correctly, so they don't respond correctly. Anyway, another thing is it's difficult sometimes for them to socially interact. And they find it difficult, and they may say the wrong thing. Now, what I want to say with all of these, with all that I just told you, I just want to point out that as a parent with a child that does have special needs and does have some atypical behaviors and some tendencies for autism, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay for you to go to the parent and say, why is your child doing that? That's more refreshing than, maybe just kind of staring at them for a little bit longer. I find it really respectful when someone says, why is Addison playing with dolls? Why is Addison in a wheelchair? So just keep it in mind. If you happen to see a child that you're certain may have, you don't have to approach everyone, but if you happen to see someone and you're around them for a long period of time, somebody at your church, somebody in school that you've wanted to know about, ask a teacher, ask their parent. Just say, hey, Miss Bowman, I've noticed this about so-and-so.
We're all different, and sometimes our differences stand out. For example, I have glasses. Miss Bowman has bushy curly hair, and some of those differences stand out. And so in a system like autism, it's a brain disorder, and so they might have things going on inside of them that you don't know about, or some of the things, the symptoms or side effects that you see, the flapping of arms or the tapping or the noises, or the inability to communicate. Some people just can't talk at all. Those are all just differences, and so it's better than, rather than staring or being afraid of something that's different, it's better to ask questions like Miss Bowman said, and to celebrate the differences in others.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we are all very different, and it's very important to be kind to those differences as well.
The other, kind of the last thing we want to touch on, I saw a lot of you wanted to know, is there a cure for it? There isn't, and that's part of the reason why they have autism awareness. They want to help find a cure. They want to start making people aware of what's going on inside their heads. Since it's something you can't see, it's all inside their heads, we want to learn more about it. And it starts by asking good questions, and that's why we had you guys ask questions. A lot of you asked if you can outgrow it, or if there are adults with autism, and there are adults who have autism. I think autism, those who are autistic tend to adapt better. So you might not see as prominent of symptoms in adults because they've learned to manage and deal with them their whole lives. A lot of younger kids, especially kids on our age, on our campus, you're going to see them because they're just still learning on how to learn and how to relate to the people around them and how to live with what's going on inside of their head. So I found a couple cool videos that I can't put into the announcements, but I'm going to attach them to the email that your teachers can help you learn just a couple of facts about autism. So I hope this week was informative to you guys. And remember, we're a puzzle piece, all of us, and when you put all those pieces together, we make a giant picture that's really cool. But it takes the corner pieces, it takes the edge pieces, it takes those pieces that all in the middle that all have their different pictures and portraits to make one big picture. And so we're all important, and I want you guys to celebrate that. Hey guys, I hope that the video you just watched was very informative and you know a little bit more about autism. It all starts by asking questions. So these questions you guys put in were great. Ms. Trevino and I read through every single one of them. There was not a bad question in there, and I want to emphasize that there is not a bad question. If it's honest and you mean it from your heart and you really want to know, it's not a bad question. Just ask the right people at the right time. And it all goes to the good. We all start learning a lot more. So I'm going to pick just a bunch of random names. I put them all back in here. And here we go. The first one we have is Dallas Roberts.
Good job, Dallas. Thank you for participating.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you to all of you that did participate.
Sophia Brooks. We've got John Angel. Oh, yep, Olivia Martiszewski. We have got Madeline. I don't know what Madeline, but you said this is your first time to ever be picked. Gabriela Ramirez. Brooklyn Marinda. Oh, here's a small one. Addie Welser. I don't know how you got your question on that tiny piece of paper, but we got another one here. Talon Richards. Kane Donaldson. This is Wyatt Reese. This is a good question. Nick Sambale. Jackson Turner. I got my blue shirt on. Hope you do too. Skylar Cole. And let's do 2 more.
Okay.
We've got Landon Garrick. And there you go, last one. William Kershaw. Come on down, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's trivia question, and stay tuned next week.